Welcome to Open Source Spotlight. We invite open source authors and ask them to show the tools they're working on. Today we have Adam. Hi, Adam. Tell us a few words about yourself and about the tool you want to show us.
Hey, Alexi, how are you? Thank you for inviting me. So, a few words about myself. I am Adam, and as part of my role, what I do on a daily basis is I encourage the community to use open source Dash, use the wonderful Plotly Graphing library, support them along the way, make sure the community members feel valued and supported, and that learning Dash every day becomes even easier and even more fun. So everything I do is with that goal in mind. And so I'm on forums, I'm doing videos, I'm supporting people in writing blog posts, and I also talk a lot with our managers at Plotly to give them some useful information.
You're going to show us Dash, right? Or Plotly?
Yes. Well, Dash is built. It's a good question because Dash is built on top of Plotly, meaning like Plotly Graphing Library, Plotly used for graphing library, and then Dash open source in many cases incorporates the graphing library. So I'm going to show you a little bit, maybe a small demo of how to get started with Dash. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. And we'll get to see both tools, right?
We'll get to see both of those. Okay, so let me share screen. This is our documentation. But before we go into documentation, if you're not completely sure what Dash and Plotly is all about, we have this major web page on our website that we built that you can go to by going into just clicking example apps here. It's just plotly.com and then example apps. And you'll see how Dash can be used in many different industries and analytic methods, right? We have data visualization, machine learning. We're going to see geospatial type of dashboards, energy and utilities, and so on and so on. Most of these are data apps that were built by the community, like here, for example, by Julie Hartz, Roland Schweitzer, and some of these were built by Plotly. Since we also liked the dashboards that we built, we added them as well. So let's take this example. If you click on this app right here, this is the natural language processing category. Just so you see an example of Dash. This was built by the community. She added here a button, contribute, documentation, and everything here is Python. It may seem like it's using other libraries, but everything was written in Python. And so this just put here, she says 902. So I don't know, she gave us an example of what we should search. And so this does some natural language processing, and then it spits out some data. I think it has also some graphs that it shows. Give it a second. In the meantime, I'm also going to open this app right here, the LDA topic analysis, which we'll see over here in a second. Okay, so it's this created obviously a bar chart, a pie chart, two pie charts, and a line chart with some data that was analyzed based on our. I think it's given us all the academic research papers and books with these with the cover this. And you can obviously filter by years, or filter by topic, publications, and so on and so on. So very cool. I was really impressed when she showed this to me because I know the power of open source Dash, but this was one of the first times I saw it like in the topic of academia and research. And she told me a lot of people use it. So I was like, wow, okay, we got to highlight it. So this is why we put it on our main webpage. And then here we have another example. This uses Dash Cytoscape. You can see up here, which is kind of cool because you can move things around. Not working right now. Let me reload it, but you can move things around. And then you can change like minimal citations. Let's say we want 3 with a simple drop down. You can click on a node and get more information. Whoops, I always zoom out by mistake. You can get more information on any node that you click on, and you can change all the other things here as well. Let me move you up here. So one more example, just so you get excited about Dash, and then we'll go more into the thick of it. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you also have this GitHub, right? Well, obviously, most people know what this logo is. So if you see this logo on the bottom right corner, this one doesn't have it, but this one does, you can click on it and it will take you to their GitHub repo, meaning you can actually learn from the code. You can see how Julie built this app, right? You have all the files here, and you can actually see it. So it's kind of cool. It's a great learning opportunity, which was the main goal, Alexia, of why we built this webpage. We wanted people to see the power of Dash, see the versatility of Dash, and also to be able to learn from the code of others. Okay, so we have these this example. Oh, well, I'll show you one more example. This is churn. So I went here. We went into machine learning. I know a lot of your viewers are in the machine learning world. We click on this one. This is another community member. This was built for one of our Plotly challenges. And this is great. It uses data based on, I think, like supermarket sales and churn activity. I think it was, or maybe it was a movie thing. I can't remember, but all the data is here. You have the churn investigation, like a summary. And this, I think, won like second or third place in our Plotly challenge. And then in churn predictions, you can choose different features, and it'll tell you what's the chances or the likelihood of this customer churning, random or randomized customer, or whatever, 21%. Oh no. So these are just some examples of what you can do with Dash. Now, obviously, if you're completely a beginner and you know very little Python, or you know Python well, but you never really dealt with Dash, then this might take you a few days to build. It's not going to be built the first day. So my recommendation to get started is to read this Dash in 20 tutorial. I wrote this tutorial about 4 weeks ago. With plenty of support from my colleagues, and we put together a really beautiful thing. This is a Dash documentation. Just go to dash.plotly.com or put Dash docs inside Google, and you will be able to reach this page fairly easily. It goes into a lot of, like everything about Dash is here, right? So you can learn anything and everything about Dash through this documentation. It's very, very thorough. But to get started, you want to look at either, first of all, a minimal Dash app, like what's the structure of a Dash app? If you're a very good Python programmer, you probably understand what these elements are, you know, what the app.layout is doing and what the callback is doing, and then how it spits out this graph. But if you are less comfortable with that, you can always go into the Dash in 20 tutorial in 20 minutes. And this will walk you through the different, the basic elements of a Dash app, right? Connect it. How do you do a hello world, right? How do you show just a basic title on a web page, right? Copy this code into your Python IDE, and it will generate this title, right? And all it is, it's just inside an HTML div, right? HTML wrapped in Python. So this is hello world, and then we have here connecting to data section. How to import or embed Excel sheets or CSV sheets into your app, how to visualize the data. This is going to be with Plotly. This is a Plotly graphing library. In this case, we're using the bar chart, which we also refer to in Plotly as, where is it, px dot, the histogram. In this case, we're using the histogram. They're very similar. And after we incorporate the data with a data table and a histogram, then we show them the callback, right? And the callback, this section right here, this is like the core of Dash. This is the heart of Dash. This is what allows for interactivity. Do you want to interact with any component on your dashboard? In this case, a radio button with a data that's displayed on the histogram. Then for this interaction to take place between components, you need, in most cases, you need to write a callback. And a callback is actually a lot simpler than it looks. Where you have like 6-7 lines of code here for a new programmer in Python, like, oh, what is this doing? But actually, all you're really doing here is you're taking the value property of this item. Now, what is this ID? This is the input, right? We're taking this value of this ID, this controls and radio item, Here's the ID, controls and radio item. So all we're doing here, we're taking the value, which in this case is life expectancy, a string of life expectancy. We're going to put it in here. This is the callback function. This is the input. We're taking life expectancy. Actually, you know what? It'll be a lot easier. Let's see if I show you on PyCharm like this. Make it bigger. So we're taking this value, which is life expectancy. And what we're doing, we're putting it inside here, the callback function. Imagine this was life expectancy, the string. And then what we're doing is we're saying build a plotly express histogram, but the y-axis will be this value, right? This column chosen. You can call this whatever you want, radio button chosen or component chosen, whatever. Selected something. And in this case, we know it's life expectancy. So this will be life expectancy, a string of life expectancy. And this is how a histogram is built, with the y-axis being life expectancy. Now, just as an example, if you change this to POP, which stands for population, what we're doing, you saw how the graph updated. If you change this to POP, the only thing you're doing is, again, this value, this is the input, is tied to the value of the radio item, right? Because this is the same ID. So now this changed to POP, like this. And if this changed to POP, now technically, this is POP, a string of POP, and then technically, this is POP as well. So that's all it's doing. It's making that connection. Obviously, we cannot put a POP or life expectancy here because then it's static, and we don't want it. We want it to be dynamic. We want it to change based on user interactions and user selections. But that is all you're doing. The last thing you need to know is that you're returning this figure, right? This is how it's actually being returned to the page. Remember this like helper or tip. And any object that you return in a callback function, in this case, we're only returning one object. Any object that you return is assigned to the component property of the output. All right. So we have a fig here, and this is assigned to the figure of this ID. Now, this ID is the graph. We can see here. So if we're assigning this to the figure, we're actually assigning this right here. Instead of an empty dictionary, we're assigning a figure. And this makes a lot of sense because if you actually hashtag this out before you have any type of interaction, and you just want the layout where you have a radio item, a table, and a graph, this has an empty dictionary. It's like this is an empty dictionary. It's an empty graph. There's nothing in there, right? But if you want this interactivity, if you want to activate the callback, then you're returning this figure that you built instead of this dictionary. And that is how you actually show a graph inside a Dash app. So this was my demo just to get started. I don't want to go too deep into it. I think, like I said, everybody should take the tutorial that I have here in 20 minutes. You will learn how to build this complete app but step by step, and then we'll give you some next steps on where you can move from here. The last thing I wanted to say is just the best way to do this is like I showed you, in conjunction with PyCharm or VS Code or any other Python IDE. Like, copy the code that you see, or maybe we'll just copy this one right here. Let's copy the hello world. Copy it, go into a Python IDE, and then just save it. And then all you need to do is run it. Now, if you don't have Dash installed, all you have to do is go to your terminal and do pip install Dash. And Plotly already comes inside Dash, so you don't need to do anything else. And this will allow you to see whatever code you pasted into your Dash app, into PyCharm hello world. Cool.
It's really cool. Thanks for the demo. I'm wondering how many people are working on this tool.
So we have, let me exit here. So we have a few engineers within Plotly that are dedicated to open source, that all they do, or 90% of their job, is making the Plotly graphing library. In this case, you saw the histogram. It can be a pie chart. We have over 50 different types of graphs. maintaining the graphing library and developing them, right? Making them even better, making even more features. And then we have other people that are working on the Dash open source, which is the components that you saw, the interactivity, the scalability, and all that. In addition to the engineers that are working on our open source product, we also have community members, right? I am the community manager, and as such, I have a lot of community members that I've talked to over the years and that I've developed a relationship with, and they really like Dash. Like they usually come to me and say, Adam, I'd like to contribute to Dash, and we start talking, and they tell me I learned, not only did I learn so much from Dash and Plotly, not only did I become a better coder, I learned Python better, but this really helped me in my job. It really helped me. This dashboards that I built with Dash open source helped me understand my work better. I got a raise, I got a promotion, I got a job. Some people told me I actually got a job because of learning Dash and showing my potential employers what I could do, what I could offer. And so they really want to give back. And so that's what they do. Like as a community manager, I give them different opportunities where they can actually give back based on their skill set and based on their interests, right? So we have some people, community members, that are giving back by actually helping us develop Dash AG Grid, which is similar to the data table, but some people prefer even Dash AG Grid even more because of the versatility, because of all the things you can do with Dash AG Grid. So those two community members are helping us develop Dash AG Grid, like in the back end with the coding, like the heart of it. And then we have a few other community members that are answering a lot of questions on the forum and supporting others in learning Dash and learning Plotly. And then we have another community member that wanted to help us create videos. So we put videos on YouTube, on the Plotly channel, with different helpful videos, to support others in learning Dash or doing anything they want to do with Dash.
That's cool. And that's awesome. That's the power of open source, right?
Exactly.
If somebody wants to contribute in the same way, either by doing a video or helping on forums or maybe contributing, taking an issue from GitHub, how do they go about this? Do they go to your community and ask for guidance, or there is some sort of contributing guide, or how do they get started?
So very good question. Actually, a timely question, because I am building on a contribution guide. That's more general, right? Right now, they can go to the GitHub repo that we have, Plotly Dash or plotly.py, the Python graphing library, and they could look at the contributing.md, like the markdown file, and they can read all about what type of contributions we have there and how to get started. They can just contact us there easily. But I'm building a much more generic kind of contribution guide, which will just have the different contribution opportunities, not only the GitHub repo or coding base, but other type of contribution opportunities, like I told you, forum. So that will be soon posted on the forum and easy for people to access. But for now, what I would say, Alexi, is for people to go to the community.plotly.com, right? community.plotly.com. And I don't know if we can add this link somewhere, but if not, you can just
We can, yes.
Perfect.
You will send us the link and we will include this in the description.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you the Dash docs, and all they have to do is click on this link, and they will arrive here at this main page. I happen to be right here. I answered a question a few moments ago. But we have very active community members, and it's a great place to get started, to ask questions, even if they're experts to come to the forum, because sometimes they get stuck. They'll ask questions that other experts can help them out with. Now, specifically to answer your question, if somebody wants to contribute, then they usually just contact me. They'll go on the forum and they'll see like maybe a community components. These are certain components that they can see other community members have created. These are Dash components. So they'll go there. They might click on this pinned topic and see all the different components created by the community. So this is one way to contribute, but they can also just reach out to me, right? They'll click on Adam, they'll click, right now, this is my profile. So, but in other profile, you'll see messages. So just click someone else here. Let's click him. well, so Hussein, welcome. Click on message, and you'll be able to message him just like you do if you message me. So that's the best way to get started. You can either email me or just message me, and I can guide you on the best way to contribute.
Great, thanks. Last thing, do you have any advice to anyone who is watching this?
Any advice? Yes, I would say the most important thing. So I would say people often don't realize this because people don't realize how powerful Dash is and how much time and effort it can save them in the future, right? Right now, there's Dash, and there's many other libraries out there in the world that try to do similar things to what we do, right? And sometimes they'll try to go to those libraries because there's others libraries out there. We're not the only one. However, they always end up coming back to us and saying, "Jesus, I'm working with a lot of data," or I really need to create an app that's faster. I'm getting stuck. It's becoming slow because I'm showing many different components and many different graphs. And because of how Dash is built and the features that we recently introduced, Dash apps are just so much easier to work with, especially when you're dealing with large amounts of data, large amounts of computation, and many components or graphs in your Dash app. So if you're interested in Dash, if you know a little bit of Python, and I would encourage you to try to learn more, go to the Dash in 20 to get started, learn the basics, especially the callback and the structure of the callback and how it works. And once you get this, will probably take you a couple of hours. Then you can start building. You'll build your first app within a couple of hours, and then you'll be able to just build stronger and better things from there.
That's great advice. Thanks a lot, Adam. A pleasure to have you here. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.